Not.
Welcome, guys, to Let's Talk. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday evening. And here at Let's Talk, we like to talk about issues that matter to you. So we try to come up with workable, practical solutions. So we have more action and less talk. I'm your co-host with my beautiful co-host.
You're your co-host. What's your name?
Oh, I'm your host, Jason. I didn't say my name. Wow.
You're
Just trying to hurry get through the formalities.
I mean, Jason is really excited. I'm going to have to put some rules down, Jason, about this topic tonight because I know you come in hard and I'm not prepared for it.
Listen, I was so... See, she telling me to say my name, right? And she didn't say her name.
Cheryl, of course. Still Cheryl.
All right,
just Cheryl.
So both of us a little off our game.
Cheryl.
Because I was trying to get her to do the little intro because I know you're always just tired of hearing from me. But she says, no, you won't be the man. Lead. I say, okay, I can follow. Mm-hmm. So here, Let's Talk. We like to talk about issues that matter to you.
Yes.
And today, I think this is a hot topic. I think it will be a hot topic.
Well, it's a sensible topic, and it's a topic worth discussing.
Yeah, all our topics are worth discussing, Cheryl. Come on, we don't talk about foolishness, man. Stop that.
I never said that. Oh my gosh, Jason, I hope this is not an indication of what you plan to do for the rest of the night. Just putting words in my mouth and taking out what you like. But, yeah. So, we're introducing ourselves. That's what
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, so tonight we're talking about...
That's why I wanted you to lead, because I know I was giving you the floor tonight.
Co-parenting. That's what we're talking about tonight. Yes. Co-parenting.
Co-parenting.
Yes.
And the reason why I say it's going to be a hot, and it can be a hot topic, and it's going to be very interesting because this ain't no little easy topic here. This affects everybody in this Bahama land. I know if you aren't a co-parent or a single parent, because by extension, single parenting.
Yeah.
You know somebody who is in your family, close, because
right.
I looked up the stats. I just want to start off with some stats. Mm-hmm. It says, according to the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, BNSI, statistics show, that's one of my words.
It's mine too, for real.
Statistics show that in 1975, about 44% of children in the Bahamas were born out of wedlock.
1945.
1945. That's high to me, I think. I thought back then they had their stuff together. Right. To me, I thought that was high. But they say the stats for today, as of 2020, it jumped to 62%.
Wow.
That's more than half of our population raising single parents. Single parents. So this leads to believe that a major portion of the households in the Bahamas are led by a single parent.
But so those stats speak to children who were born out of wedlock?
Yes.
Okay. Because then the co-parenting issue might be a little more than that, Jason, because you have kids, my child who was born in wedlock, but still ended up in a single parent home and still suffered from co-parenting.
Yes.
So the stats might change because you do have a lot of co-parenting that was formed as a result of divorce and not just by, kids who were born by single parents.
Right. And just by definition now, do we call co-parenting when a single parent gets together with another person, a parent, and they're helping the parent, or is co-parenting father and mother apart and they're parenting apart?
Right. That's the general. That's
what co-parenting is.
Right.
Okay, so
two
what do we
parents
call...
who are not together but have a child in common and decide to bring the child up together.
Okay, so I guess we classify step parents. You call those blended families then.
Right. That's a
Not
different kind.
co-parenting.
No, that's not.
Okay, so
Because those parents are in the home.
yeah.
Right. So
Right.
that's different. This in this scenario, both parents are not in the home.
Okay. So just for clarity.
Right.
So we got that out of the way. So we're talking about mother one way, father one way, the child in the middle, and more often than not, the child is with the mother. More often than not, by choice and sometimes not by choice.
Right.
And this leads to a lot of our ills, in my opinion, a lot of ills in our society. This co-parenting. And it's because I think the mother and father can't get it together. So the child now suffers,
Right.
which means now the cycle more than likely will be repeated. So guys, before we continue on, we'd be happy to have you join us in on this conversation. Let us know what you think about co-parenting. 352-8255, 352-8255, or just drop a comment in the chat and we'll read it live.
Right.
So yeah, Cheryl, go ahead. You take the floor.
Yes, I think co-parenting is an interesting issue because we have a lot of parents who are trying to bring kids up together, and it's not an ideal situation. But I think just like everything else, if we start with the end in mind, then we'll do a better job. The end in mind is to bring up a good child, a child who can end up being a good citizen, take care of himself or herself, and just someone that you can be proud of. At the end of the day, if both persons are not on one accord, and it's we're not going to have the conversation, Jason, that we normally have. Okay, you got to be careful who you have children with. You got to do all of that, because at the end of the child is here. So the child is already here. The important thing is, how do we bring this child up? It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about the parents. And I think where we go wrong is a lot of times the parents make it about themselves. The parents make it about themselves, and the parents try to get back at each other using the child. And I know there's no way we can get away from talking about the genders when it comes to that, because we know that each gender has a different approach to the whole co-parenting issue. And of course, we're going to also go into relationships, because when both parties are in other relationships, then the co-parenting also has different challenges because of that dynamic. So all of that affects the child at the end of the day. And I think if the child is prioritized, then the issues will be less, and we have a better chance of not having the child as a societal ill.
Correct. But I just have to disagree with one point. We have to address the who you should have a child with and who you shouldn't have a child. We have to, because
we're talking
we
about
wouldn't
co-parenting.
be.
We're not talking about making good decisions about childbearing.
Listen, Cheryl, you talk a good lick just now, and I ain't interrupt. So let me just have this little second.
One.
You have to address that, because that's part of the solution. That's part of the solution. The solution is to stop having children out of wedlock, choose better partners. That's the solution. So it doesn't come in the beginning. That could come at the end. That's one of the solutions. I don't know how you could say that's not a solution.
It's not.
So continue having children out of wedlock, continue not choosing.
Children are here, so let's co-parent
yes.
together.
Yes.
For the sake of the child.
And then prevention is better than cure.
We preempted by saying that not all children come from people who had kids out of wedlock.
Correct.
There's some people who came from kids of marriages.
Correct. Correct. Anyway,
right.
At any rate.
So when parents become selfish and the focus is off the child, I think that's when we have issues.
Yeah, and it's so sad that a lot of people having kids aren't ready for kids. You know, it just, the child has happened to be a byproduct. You know, they think they're in love.
Right.
They go there having a good time, relationship, and boom, before they do their background checks, boom, a child is here. They realize now that, okay, we can't be together as a couple, but we have this child. Now, rather than the conversation being, okay, let's make sure, see what we can do.
Right.
So this child can be a productive citizen, a productive member of society, conversation goes now, I getting back at you.
Right.
Oh, she ain't freeing up no more, so I'm not going to do for the child. Or he's moved on, so I'm not going to let him see the child.
Right.
So they're using the child as a weapon. And now here's this child stuck in the middle being weaponized.
Right.
Now the child has very little choice, I should say, on
Right.
not becoming a product of that
Right.
that society, of that atmosphere. So we continue to have this cycle, this vicious evil cycle. Because you hear what it was in 1945, 42%. Like I said, that's really high for back then. But it's now 62%. I think it's really higher than that.
You mean now?
Yeah, now.
I think so.
I think it's
really
higher than
think
that.
so.
Seemed low.
And
Because
I
the
think-
amount of people I see, I mean, I don't see everybody, but the amount of people I know, I'm willing to say that 80% of the people I know have children, whether they married or not. I'm talking about adults now.
That doesn't mean that they're co-parenting. So what are you talking about? There's children. people who have
80% of the people I
children.
know ain't married.
Really?
So, but
80% of the people you
80%
know-
of people I know
We need
have
to
children.
study all
I
the
think
people you know, Jason. That's
I
a
said the
different
people I
show
know.
altogether. We're going to do a
Because
show about
so
the
many
you
people
know.
have kids. It's like having kids is like, I don't know. That's like a normal thing now. You know, it's a norm. And I remember when I was growing up, way back then, for a young lady to be pregnant and not married, we like shame.
It was taboo, yeah.
Shame. And like now it's like, yeah, I pregnant with me and him ain't together no more, so I dating this next fella, and I like, the baby ain't out yet. And you then on to the next fella. So what? I like, wow, this is crazy. But it's like the focus isn't on let's get a functioning
Right.
society, you know? It's like let's keep dropping babies and hey,
Yeah.
we can make it up. We can figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
And
And the
nobody's
thing is, sorry.
Go ahead.
I guess there's a difference too, because we have a lot of families where you just have single parents and there's no co-parenting going on. It's just the mother taking care of the child.
Yes.
And then we have a different dynamic of co-parenting where the father drops some money, but he's not parenting. He is I guess contributing, donating financially. Yes. And so there's no co-parenting. But co-parenting speaks to when the man really wants to be in the child's life.
Yes.
Or the woman wants to be in the child's life,
Yes.
and you're both existing together. And I think co-parenting also brings out a lot of the difference in value systems in both parents. And that becomes another issue. Because a lot of times when you're together, you don't really see, or it's not highlighted, your belief system in raising or bringing up a child in the different ways. But when you're not together and you discuss what happens at mommy's house and what happens at daddy's house, and you see the differences in value systems and all of that, and all of this contributes to confusing the child, traumatizing the child. And in our culture, children are not good with discussing these things about their feelings. And like you say, it's repressed, and later on it becomes an issue.
And not that. Those negative things that you said about with the child picking up, it also showing the child how to be duplicitous. So
exactly,
the child now knows how to play around mommy, knows how to play around daddy. And I had a daughter before being married, right? And my daughter made a statement to my younger kids and said, "You could win, you go win, because you can be able to get from mommy." And you can be able to get from daddy. So I sit back, I say, wow, you're real winning, eh? So sometimes the kids get the benefit, sometimes. But then a lot of times, like I said, the child now learns how to manipulate
and deceive.
But
that happens just when there's little communication, or no communication between the parents.
Yes.
And if you are co-parenting, then you have to have communication, honest and beneficial communication.
And the parents, whether one parent has to be mature. Very rare you find both of them mature.
Yeah.
But
Well,
one
at
has
least
to be
one.
mature, right? To say that, okay, the child now, the well-being of the child has to come first. And I'm talking about the mental part now. Because we like to focus on their physical, that he wouldn't even bring over some money for the child, and he wouldn't even do this. No, the emphasis should be, why don't you spend time with your child, see where your child is emotionally, and let's try to get them out of this frame of mind to say, hey, Daddy and Mommy might not have make it. We made a mistake. We jumped the gun and we had you before. We didn't follow the rules.
Right.
The step 1, 2, 3. We jumped straight to step 4, right? And when we had you. So let's see how we could get you to not follow in the same footstep. So guys, we want you to stick around and come back on the other side of this break and just join us. Tell us what you have to say about this topic.
Yes.
Greetings and welcome to Superior Talk Bahamas. My name is Yvette Swain, and I am here with the Sword Sharpeners Prayer Network. We meet every Monday at 6 p.m., where we dive into the Word of God to see what He would say to us. You are welcome to join us. That's every Monday at 6 p.m. here on Superior Talks. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. The producer is telling us that the chat is on fire. So therefore, we'll go straight into comments.
Terrell Smith says, co-parenting does not only include single parenting. Yes,
That's
thank
true.
you so much for
That's
that.
true.
Yes.
We got the grandparents sometimes, other
That's true.
members.
Right.
They'll have to step in to help out if you're smart. Big Mick says, how do you know who is the right person, Jason?
Good question.
Well, that would have been covered in our dating show, and we probably need to go back into that deeply.
Yes.
The right person for me ain't going to be the right person for the next person. So you have to actually sit and you have to know yourself first, like we said, right?
Yes.
We have to know what we want first.
Yes.
And then we have to be that person who we're looking for.
Exactly.
And then we look for that other person and then try to find those qualities in that person. That's who the right person is. B-Lord says, both have to be on the same page in order to properly co-parent.
Absolutely.
That's what you were saying.
Yes. Have to be.
Yes.
Have
yes.
to be.
Definitely.
Priska says, I don't think most people have a child with someone with the intention of raising the child alone. You're absolutely correct. But I just think where we go off is most people don't think before having children. We don't plan for our children.
Right.
And children who are going to be the most important asset. I don't know if you can relate to them as asset, but you get what I mean.
Yes.
They're going to be the most important thing that we own.
Yes.
Same thing. But
Owning
so how do we not plan for them?
Yes.
How do we not plan? And too often, too many of our children are accidents.
Yes.
Too many of
That's
our
happened.
children
That's a
are
byproduct
accidents.
of
Exactly.
our-
And we can't call them that,
of
but an
having
unplanned child, it is what it is. Only women weaponize kids. All right, we're going to come back to that. Let's stick a pin there.
Mix, I would agree with you because you demands them, but men do that too.
Not as often as women.
No,
And I think, that's
Men
something
weaponize
worth,
it by saying, I ain't going to come by because you ain't.
right. Or
Putting
I'm
out.
going to withhold some finances because
you ain't putting out.
Right.
So they weaponize it in that way.
in that way. But
Still a
women
weapon.
could be a little more malicious.
Oh, could be.
And,
They are.
and manipulative
Who said
in
could
terms
be?
of, why are you putting words in my mouth? Jason,
I'm taking words out of your mouth. I'm not
okay.
putting it in there.
We could be a little more malicious and manipulative, where we manipulate the child and we use the child to get what we want, or we poison the mind of the child against the father. And that I've seen that happen to fathers, and I think it's awful, especially fathers who really want to be a part of their child's life. And I don't think if you're not in a relationship, you don't have to be in a relationship to raise a child together properly.
No. But
You know?
guess what? The only way a woman could weaponize a child against that man is if the man actually wants to be with the child.
To be with the child?
With the child, right.
Yes.
She knows that, so that's why she uses it as a weapon.
And that's what's so hurtful about it, because my gosh, we have statistics showing how many men don't want to be with their children. So you have some who do, and you are going to put the child at a disadvantage, because who are you hurting? You ain't hurting the man. You're
That's
hurting
right.
the child. So when do you put the child first? And I think that's the height of selfishness. And I hope early enough that children understand this, and sadly, by the time the children understands this, they resent the parent and end up maybe losing to parent, because it affects the relationship that the child has with the father.
Correct.
And now will affect the relationship that they have with the mother as a
Correct.
result of that.
You see mommy for who she truly is.
Yes.
Terrell says, Planned Parenthood matters, most definitely. Predominantly, most single families or co-parenting does not begin with marriages. So for that reason, I agree with Jason. Hey,
Most single families or Oh, I never said it did. I said one-off. I said one-off because we can't think that all co-parenting happens out because of children out of wedlock. There are some co-parenting situations.
Yes.
But there are two here.
Below says some married people on the same have struggled. Some married people in the same home have struggled co-parenting due to not being on the same page. Oh,
that is true.
Yes.
That is true.
One parent always think they know what's best.
Yes.
So they undermine the other parent. And pit the child now sees that and then use that as a weapon to get what they want. Yeah.
Co-parenting is completely possible once the best interest of the child is most important to both parents.
Yes, which should
Absolutely. We said that at the beginning.
So
I agree.
Is that it? Oh, okay. Below it says selfishness and ego must be put aside. Oh, yes. Mick says the reason for co-parenting is to make sure the kids are raised right. Yes.
And
agreed.
as long as we have that in our heads, and I think we forget that too quickly. That is about the child.
Yeah, because we so selfish. We all about us, and everywhere you look, you first, me first, all for me, and your happiness above everything and everyone, and that's the message being pushed.
Yes.
And that's the message which actually causes division. So you got to be careful on where you're getting your information from.
Priska, men only don't weaponize children because mothers have the children more often than not.
And we could speak to that, but that's a whole other show. You see, the courts have sided with the women because of maybe back in the day, right? Men allowed it to take place. But men of today now suffering for that because courts automatically assume that the women are better. So they automatically assume the woman is the best parent.
Yes.
So they would give custody to the child. There's hardly any hearing to say that, to see who's the better parent.
Right.
Or to say joint. It's automatically always awarded to the mother. And men, because we don't know our rights, or fathers don't know their rights, we go along with it. But I know of cases where fathers went to court and they won. It wasn't not a lot.
Not a lot, yeah, that's true.
But at the very least, they got joint custody.
Right.
So that's the reason why mothers have the children more. Not always because the guys just give up their responsibility. Just some men don't know their rights. And then the courts actually side with the women on that.
Yes. I think I agree with you with that, Jason, that it's unfair that a man has to prove that he's a good father.
Yeah,
but a mother doesn't have to prove to be, that they're a good mother to be awarded the child. So that's the unfairness in our system.
Yes. We live in a time, says Mix, that things don't go the way you want it. And you end up with kids, not because it wasn't love. It's just that things happen. True, life happens, eh? People often prioritize wrong, says Bradley, which often places challenges in co-parenting. While one parent makes proper guidance paramount, the other parent places material substances as the focus. Yes. Boy, that's why you got to really be careful who you laying down with.
Yes.
Because a child could come out of that union, eh? The law is built for women when it comes to the kids. Yes, Mix.
That's what you were saying.
So, thanks very much, guys. That was nice comments. We really love that. Keep the participation. Keep coming on. We like to have y'all call in too, But we'll settle for the comments for now.
Less talking for us, the more they comment.
Yeah. So, but like you were saying, it's crazy how women would weaponize the child because they know the father wants the child.
Right.
I know of a story personally, right? I ain't call no name, carry no blame, where this guy actually had to carry the mother to court. But before he had to carry the court, he went to social services. They didn't show up to help because the mother was withholding a child. Because they weren't together anymore. They had moved on supposedly, but the guy moved on. Apparently she didn't move on, even though she said, nah, like I say, I ain't carrying no name. So don't call in and say I talk in your business. They can figure out who you're talking about.
That story fits a lot of people. Right. I could tell two different stories, the same scenario, pretty much. Yeah.
So
MO.
He's trying to see the child. The child is not being afforded to him to see.
Right.
He went on social services. They didn't show up. Called the police. The police tell him, you know what? Stop checking for the child. The minute you stop checking for the child, she can bring the child around. Only because she know you want to see the child, she using the child as the weapon. That's what the police say.
That's awful.
So he told the police, man, I can't do that. That's my child.
Exactly.
Police say, okay. Well, ain't nothing they could do because they can't make her bring the child to him. Police cannot make a mother carry the child to the father, especially if they weren't married. So he had to go to court.
Mm-hmm.
Gone to court, the court said, okay, blah, blah, blah. The judge laid out the foundation on how they had to operate.
Mm-hmm.
Miss, make sure make the child available to the guy. The lady, because she feels she big and bad, she decided not to listen to the judge. The guy had to carry the woman back to court to see his own child.
Wow.
So the judge said, Miss,
understand.
you know how many women I see before me each day? To wish. You know?
Yes.
And here's this guy bringing you to court to see his child.
To see your own child.
Say, Miss, your head can't be right. Because so many women would wish to be in that position. But that just goes to show you that some women out there, because they always saying women, good women, only bad men out there. But some bad fathers out there. There are bad mothers out there as well.
Agreed.
And for the court to or for people just to assume that the mother's best is totally unfair.
I think so.
And it discourages a lot of men. Some men
does,
I've heard men speak, say, man, I just can't deal up with the stress. I'm sorry for my child. Wow. I just can't put up with this woman. She can cause me go to jail.
Wow. And it's the child who suffers.
It's the child who's suffering. It's a child who's suffering.
I think there's, something has to be done about it, but I don't know what can be done about it. And then you have some other situations who are not as grave, where the mother is allowing the father to see the children, but is still, I would say, trying to interfere with the father fathering the child properly. And that too is bad because, as mothers, we have to understand that we cannot parent boys. If there's a father present and he wants to do the job, let him do the job. But encourage a lot of females, encourage him. But a lot of females, we interfere.
Yes.
We don't know how to just not interfere. I'm not sure why someone is looking at me from over there, but yes.
It's just that it's a control thing. I think it's a control thing.
What about you? Think it's a competition too?
Yes.
Do you think parents compete for the children's affection?
I've known of it. I know. Again, I call no name, carry no blame. I've heard stories. The parents, and I don't want to bring it to gender because you could refute.
No, that's fine.
I've heard of cases where mothers.
This is our problem. So I'm willing to sit small and accept the blame. Mothers just this week.
Actually competing with the fathers for the affection of the child to say, oh, they can outdo the father.
Wow.
Or, try to get the child to choose to say who's doing what better.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Are you making things up, Jason?
What they say, hand to God? No, wow. I'm telling you, these things happen. They're happening. Guys don't like to talk it because you know why? Oh, he's being sassy. He's being a B word. He complaining too much. Men don't complain. Sit down and... men can talk it around. Yeah, take it like a... They can talk around other men who they feel won't...
Right.
Who they feel they could confide in. So men they're going through these issues, and women, because that's their control, that's their power now. I got him. I wasn't able to control him during the relationship, but he loved his child. I got him. I can get him now.
Wow.
And it's so sad it's happening. And
it is sad.
They put these children in these funny positions, and it now gives them a mentality that, hold on, is this the way it's supposed to be? Okay, so let me carry this out. So who now tells the children or shows them that this is unhealthy? This is actually toxic.
Right. It is. It is.
And co-parenting, like the commenters said, and like you said, it should be the parents supposed to be mature enough to realize, okay, we didn't work. Let's make sure our child
exactly
is good enough to not make the same mistake. That's not a good word I'm using because I'm trying to use strong words. I don't know. I'm trying to sound intelligent tonight, but the words escape me.
Okay.
But they should be. They should be.
Yes, the child should
let's
be
make sure our
priority.
child do not function the way we function. Let's make sure our child don't make these fall in these same pitfalls. They don't do the same parenting mistakes we did.
And not just the parenting, but they see the example of poor relationships.
Yes.
And that's what they replicate when they get older, because that's what they see. And children learn through example. And I see we're seeing the light for a commercial break. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get some more comments and we'll talk more co-parenting.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat.
And I'm your boy Mix.
And we're representing Off the Bench, the #1 talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m.
The #1 talk show
in the world.
In the world, Craig.
So welcome back. This is a very great topic we're talking about, because it's affecting our Bahamas. It's affecting the way our Bahamas are being run. And if we want to see a change, I guess we got to change this. This is one of the key things we have to change. So we're talking about co-parenting and how we as parents are so selfish. Rather than looking out for the well-being of the child mentally, because that's where it affects them most. We could always make the money.
Yeah.
And we could always make up on other things physically, right? But that mental, that's something that they probably wouldn't even express.
Yes.
We don't even know what they're going through.
Yes.
How what we're doing as parents, as immature parents, fighting and then exposing them to the wrong atmospheres, exposing them to this toxic behavior. We don't know how that affecting them. And then we ain't mature enough to actually sit with them and ask them how it's feeling.
Right.
We just can blame them when they start acting out.
Exactly.
And
pretend like we don't know what's going on when we sow the seeds.
Correct.
But Terrell Smith says, I encourage fathers to fight. The record will reflect that you tried. Definitely. I agree 100%. Yes.
I agree. Sadly, the laws in the Bahamas are not in favor of men, and that is something that we also have to fight for. We have to change it.
Mitzi Cameron, all the way from Canada.
Hey,
Thanks
Mitzi.
for watching, Mitzi.
Thanks for
she
joining.
says, do you think the child should be withheld because of no child support?
No.
No. Yes, I agree 100%. No, because finances is not the only thing. And yes, you want the money, but if as a mother, if you're taking care of the child and the father reappears in the child's life and he wants to do his part, he can help to build that child morally.
That's
he
right.
can be of support. He can speak to a child in a way you will never be able to reach that child as a man. So I don't think so. And it's funny that she brought that up, because I was about to say that sometimes men are absent and they reappear much later. It doesn't matter what time he comes. Once he shows up, I believe he should have the right to be in that child's life, because at the end of the day, it's the child's life that is going to benefit from this, and it doesn't have anything to do with the mother and the irreparable relationship that you would have had with the person.
Most definitely.
Now, Priska says, I don't know what laws y'all are talking about, but the courts of today love to see men fighting for their children, and they are granted the rights they are entitled to. Okay, Jason, so I don't know, you better stop making up stories, because Priska just set you straight.
All right, they must see change, because back in my day, when I had to fight, I was like 27 years ago, so that's a long time. So laws may have changed.
I don't think so.
Priska and Bilod again. The laws in the Bahamas has always favored women more. This is a known fact. We don't have to argue about that.
I don't think it's just Bahamas. I think
the world, right? No, I think America is what I see when I watch stories
British
online.
laws,
They're a little bit more progressive, a lot more progressive when it comes to that. Men and women's right, they don't make that distinction as much.
No mother in their right mind is going to let an inconsistent father have a real say in that child's life just because he's the father.
Wow. Before I jump on that, she needed to qualify what is inconsistent and what she means by that.
And I think I did when I mentioned that, okay, if the father was not there and he reappeared in the child's life, I guess that could be referred to as inconsistent. But a woman with the child's interest at heart should consider that.
Yes.
And I think I don't, well, in their right mind, I'm not sure. I think Priska knows what she means, and I have an idea of what she means. But I think too often us women, we really don't make decisions when it comes to this. We make emotional decisions, and we don't make the right decisions as it relates to the child. There's no way that we never take ourselves out of the equation, no matter how we say we
Exactly.
do. We do not take ourselves out of this equation when it comes to co-parenting.
Correct.
And allowing the father to be or do whatever.
Correct.
You know, and yes, and I do agree, because I am all about getting down on deadbeat dads and all of that. And
I
a
can't
man should
stand
a man should do what he's supposed to do. But at the end of the day, there are so many different ways that you can parent a child. And
Thank
yes,
you,
you want the money. We want the finances because children have to eat.
That's right.
But if you're doing it alone and you can do it, thank you for doing it, and God will continue to help you to do it. Let him do what he can do. And if it's not money, whatever it is he can do, let him do that.
That's right. You know, like you said, women never take themselves out of the equation because women just think they know better. Mothers, don't say
Yeah.
women. Mothers just think they know better. And I don't know what makes them think that, but they always think they know better. And like you said,
mother's
right?
instinct, we were programmed that we have mother's instinct.
Listen,
Yeah.
hey, listen, and I hope you all didn't hear
I
the
think it's a
producer
real
just now.
thing. I
But the
think they
thing is
heard it
this,
very
right?
disrespectful.
The thing is this.
Very.
The thing is this, right? You heard what you said, and I know you didn't mean anything like that. You said the mother should allow the father. You heard that? Allow, which means she has control.
No,
she has the
but-
power. No, you
no.
didn't mean anything by
Right,
it, but
right.
that's the mindset of so much mothers.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
allow
Because
the father.
we own the children, and
Yeah,
we're
you're
just
right.
doing him a favor.
See, and that's
that
the
comes
mindset
out.
right
That's
there.
true.
And you
That's
did that
true.
subconsciously.
Yes.
But that's
That's
how
how we're
women
programmed.
think.
Yeah.
That's how mother. I keep saying women because
Yeah.
only women can be mothers. But that's how the mothers think. You know,
Yeah.
and I allow him to be in the child. Allow
Yeah.
him to see the child. Allow.
Yeah.
That's where we messing up right there. That father has just as much right to parent that child as the mother. And money doesn't make him have the right to do that because he's the biological father. That's why he has right. And if he doesn't have the money, like Cheryl said, he could do something else until he gets the money. Yes, the child needs to eat, and the man should do all he could to provide for his child. I can't stand there and be done. I hate him.
We know.
I
You
hate
have
them.
said it
So I
before.
will never take up for them. But if a father wants to be there for his child, let him be there. Let him pour into that child whatever he can. Men raise men.
Absolutely.
Fathers encourage their daughters to be ladies. Mothers teach their daughters to be women.
Right.
But the father will teach the daughter how to be a lady. And just like your mother will teach the son how to be a gentleman.
Yes.
But the father will teach the boy how to be a man. So both parents are needed. So the fact that they try to diminish the father's role that are just regulated to money,
Right.
that offends me. I'm offended.
All right. While you're offended, can I get Priska's comment?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Priska says, our other co-hosts, our two co-hosts,
Yeah,
Priska
co-host, go
said, that may be true at B Lord Beats, but there are measures a man can take if he truly desires to be a part of his child's life. There are laws that speak to this, and the court has to follow the laws.
Yeah, the court have to follow the laws.
That's true, but
again,
they have to get there.
You actually see
The
that?
fact
He
that
have to
they-
get
yes.
there. He has to go to court. That it's so shameful that there isn't something that's automatic. Hey, if he signs for that child, he's automatically granted rights to see that child. You know, he doesn't
Right.
have to go to court. Because he got to take time off from work.
Exactly. He has to go to court
Or
where-
he have to get a
Right.
lawyer. And there's so much work he have to do to prove himself. Why?
You ask
Yeah,
the people to
anyway.
call Jason to get the call. But before that too, while we're taking
Hold on,
the
caller.
call, Mitzi said, and she's from Canada. She says the laws everywhere support women.
Okay,
So-
then. See
so
that? There
she-
you go, Priska. That answers your question. I think. Welcome to Let's Talk Caller. You are live. What you have to say tonight?
Good evening. I had to call in because there was too much typing online.
Yes.
Around
Yeah,
here. I just want to say this topic is near and dear to a lot of us, either by immediate or by extension.
Yes.
And our society is being affected to such a great degree by co-parenting or the lack thereof.
Yes.
In so many instances. I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, so the doctor said to me, so she said, you love your husband, y'all have a good relationship. He said, well, if the complications are gonna begin, if it's perfect. If you think it's perfect, it's gonna start now with bringing a child into the world. And he was like, you have to be mature on so many levels that you never thought about. So in marriage, it's complicated. So when you have persons that are unmarried trying to raise a child together, it's even more complex.
Yes.
And you can't eliminate the feelings and the issues involved with what got you to the point of not being together.
Right.
And I think that's the issue where so many people complicate things and just act out of feelings and emotions and making decisions related to the child. And in the long run, the child can resent everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
So all you're doing is messing with the psyche of the child while you think you're manipulating and moving other parts. But I always admire people. I can think of families, Jason, that have come to some mutual ground in terms of co-parenting, and you see the presence of the father with the child, you see the presence of the mother with the child, and obviously decision-making is gone both ways.
Yes.
And the respect is mutual despite whatever personally went on with the parents. So that's something to be admired. And I think, even just you on this forum sharing how you come to that point of looking beyond feelings and emotions, because that's really what it is.
Yes.
To come to raise sensible, ethical, morally good Christian children.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Y'all have a good evening. Y'all doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
so much, Darrell.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're
Awesome
welcome.
comment. Yes.
Yeah, I must say, shout out to my kid's mother. We have a few rough patches,
Right.
and Teton Tongue is followed. Everybody can't get along all the time. But for the most part, we have a good co-parenting thing going on with our children.
Yeah.
Like I said, we do have some little disagreements on how we should do some things, but for the most part, we got it done.
Yes.
Because we realize that, hold on now, and every time you could act out on your feelings, sometimes you got to be mature, or somebody has to be mature at least one point,
Absolutely.
One of the persons have to be mature for the betterment of the child. Two of y'all can't be the fool.
Right.
Sometimes I can be stupid, she be sensible. Sometimes she be stupid, I got to be the sensible one, but two of us can't be stupid. The child can suffer in the end.
Because you knew what you wanted. You knew what you were trying to achieve, a wholesome child.
Right. And people have to really get out of themselves,
Yes.
I mean, we say we're grown. Nobody can tell me what to do. You're grown, but act like you're grown.
Yeah.
Because you want your child to be productive. You want your child to be a whole child.
Exactly.
You don't want them to be a pain to society. You don't want them to be toxic. You don't want them to be falling into the same holes you fell into.
Exactly. And the good thing about it is if co-parenting is done properly, that continues beyond until till death do you part.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You are in the child's life together. But when you're not co-parenting well, as soon as the child is 18, one of those relationships,
They cut off.
Yes. Something goes. But if you're doing it properly together, as long as that child is there, you still have a place, and you can have a relationship with the child, and it coexists in a meaningful way to the child. Even when the child is an adult, she still wants both parents
Definitely.
in her space, and even as many times together as possible.
Correct.
If you're doing it properly. But, like we've been saying, it has to be about the child. And I know men they shouldn't have to fight, but if that's what it means to continue to be in your child's life, and if you got to do it.
You have to.
Yeah.
I would encourage all men, fight for your child, because in the end, your child will win.
Yes.
Your child will see. Like they said, somebody said, the record will show that you fought.
Yes.
That it wasn't all the lies. And the truth of this nasty habit of always coming to the top.
Right.
Of always being revealed. So, you might be getting painted at this bad picture now. As the child grows, they will see. The truth will come out. But the thing is that you have to continue to try. Don't give up. This is your child now. This is your seed. This is your blood. And you want that child to be better than you are. So you got to fight for the child. The mother can pay in the end. Don't try to get back at her. She can pay in the end.
Yeah, but the sad thing though, is in the meantime, you're losing a child because the more time you wait, the more time you have to fight. It's really the child. You're losing a relationship, and you're affecting a relationship, something that you could have had,
Yes.
if both of you could have worked together.
Correct. And so sad if, like, I think you or Terrell mentioned, that the child is being manipulated, right? So now here's the daddy coming, because I'm looking at it from the father's end. He's thinking everything's okay. The mother then poisoned the child. So now the child coming at the daddy the wrong way. Now here's the daddy. What does he do?
Yeah, exactly. He
Hold
doesn't
on
even
now.
know.
You ain't going to disrespect me like that.
Right.
So he's trying to correct the child. So now the child now feeling away. So the child, so that the
He
father's
can't
in a
win.
funny position.
Can't win.
He can't win.
Yeah.
And that's evil. That's evil to manipulate a child against
Jason,
their
you're feeling
parents.
this one.
Seriously, that's evil.
Yes, I
To
agree.
turn a child against their parents,
Yes.
to willingly mislead a
Yes.
child so that they could have negative feelings about their parent. I ain't gonna just
Yeah.
do it put it on the mother. I mean the father now, because
Right.
sometimes fathers do it to the mothers too.
To the mothers,
so
yeah.
to willingly mislead a child to dislike
Yeah.
or to come up negative feelings against another parent, that's evil.
Yeah.
That's wicked. Why would you want that?
Exactly.
But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, we have to go to a break. We'll be right back.
You asked and I delivered. Island-ish is back. The podcast you guys have known to love, to like to call in, to like to interact with. We are officially back. For the ones that don't know me, this is your girl Yams. Hearing me on Mix 102.1 FM or your favorite TGF_Yams. With the 2 S's, we're back with Island-ish right here on Superior Talk. So make sure you're following the page. We're going live this Thursday, 6 p.m. Don't miss it. Follow us. It's about to get lit.
Welcome back. We're talking about co-parenting, and I know when we went out just now to the break, Jason was really, really hot. We had to pour some ice water on him during the break, so you can't see it though. It's yeah. But we're talking about co-parenting, and we're seeing that this is hitting a lot of people, Jason. We have a lot of comments. We have a lot of persons taking part in the chat, and we really love this conversation because this is something that is affecting a lot of us, and it's worth a conversation. Priska says, this is why people call mothers bitter, because a child needs financial assistance from the father. Co-parenting involves doing everything together, not 90-10. Okay.
Correct.
And I understand that, Priska, and we do agree that you're supposed to do everything together.
Yes.
But our point earlier when we were talking about this, we were saying that if the father is he's not able at this time to do, and it doesn't even have to be, it could be a situation where the mother is not able to do anything financially, then that person should still be in the child's life because that is their child.
Exactly.
So there should be nothing to say, okay, if you have to put your money or you're not allowed, you have to pay to play or pay to see your child. I don't think
crazy, man.
it should be like that, because the table could turn in a different direction later on, and the mother won't have the money and the father has to do everything.
And what then? What if he say, okay, you ain't working now, do you want me to come and take this child and keep the child away from you until you could afford to see the child?
Okay. Yeah.
But no mother, they'll say that's crazy.
Yeah.
I
know she's saying here, if the child lives with the mother, she is in charge in a lot of ways, whether you like it or not. If the child lives with the mother, the mother is in charge of her house.
Correct.
But as it
Right,
relates
that's
to
right.
the child,
Way to go, Sharon.
she's not in charge.
Exactly.
That man should be able to be a part of his child's life. And I didn't grow up with my father. And, my mom never said one negative word about my father. She
can attest.
never, not one negative word. And that's something that I may do it now. But, with my my kid, that's something I tried not to do, to say anything negative
Yes.
about you.
Try.
Because I protect. I tried. Whoa. You protect how the child sees the other
Yes,
parent. I
yes.
think that's important. That's very important.
It's my mother did the same, right? And the reason my disdain for deadbeat dads is because my dad was one.
Yes.
So that's why I can't
Is he
stand
still
them, right?
alive? Can he see the show?
No, he's not alive. And if he was alive, I would have told him this. But I've forgiven him and I've moved on. But
Yes.
he did something to me, right? So I can't stand deadbeat. So I always was like, I never want my child to feel the way for me that my dad,
Right.
I felt for my dad. But my mother, like you said, she never badmouth him, and we'd encourage him, Mommy, put him in jail. Mommy, don't worry, God can deal with him. She never talked with him. And when we became adults, she told us some of the stuff he did, and I was like, I wanted to go beat him. She told me the things he did, right?
Oh, boy.
So I was like, wow, this is crazy. But the fact that she never spoke ill against him was like, wow. And when me and some of my baby mummies have little issues, and I say, boy, how mommy did not speak ill. I just have to bite my tongue because you won't tell the child what your mommy doing. That's why I so mad at your mommy. You just won't tell them, but you can't
that's
get them
not their
involved with that.
affair, yeah.
So I
That's
see,
not- yeah.
so to know that mommy didn't do it is like, by hats off to her. She had patience.
Yes.
Because you don't want to poison your child. Let them see for
Right.
themselves. Then they'll see. And if the parent is that way, you do not have to teach your child who the mommy or the daddy is.
Exactly.
They can eventually see them for who they are. You know?
Exactly, and the thing is, you're not helping the situation. And I think you're taking care of the child. Do you continue
Right.
to do you, because you adding something negative about the dad in the mix, it's not helping the child.
Not at all.
It's adding to your frustration because you're giving attention to his absence. So
and you're hurting the child because if the
Exactly.
child loves that parent who you're talking about, you're hurting the child too. Because imagine I badmouth their mommy and they love their mommy, and to hear me talk about
Exactly.
their mommy, that hurting them, and that
what-
can make me look bad to them.
Exactly. And what we have to learn as parents, this is very, very important. A child's love is not determined by how much you do for that child.
Okay.
They choose who they love
Exactly.
and how they love the
Children
two
can
of us.
tell.
Exactly.
Children can tell who
'Cause
really loves them,
I
the
think
best
I
interests
should be
of
the
the
superstar parent, but it didn't. The points didn't stack up that way, and I was awesome. Anyway, so
P-Lord says at Prisca, but some mothers are toxic and irresponsible. So them being in charge is sometimes what leads to dysfunction. Amen, brother. That's what we were talking about just now. Mitzi.
Mitzi says, disagreeing will always happen, but the child should not be a part of that argument.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Correct.
I agree 100%.
P-Lord said, Prisca again, some mothers show a lack of respect and regard for the men that they seek to co-parent with and seek to control everything. But when things fail, they blame the man. Yes. They won't be in charge, but when the bottom fall out, it's the man's fault.
Yes. So Prisca is saying here, go to court and present the facts. But men make all kinds of excuses, and yes, they shouldn't have to. But it is what it is. Their refusal tells me they don't care enough.
Oh,
to.
no,
So-
Prisca, that's wrong, Prisca. That's wrong.
Yeah, it's it's like
Wow.
telling me I have to go to court to go prove to the court that what's mine is what
Yes.
it's mine.
And then saying because you don't go to court, you don't care enough?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Oh,
It's disheartening. Having that fight is disheartening, and I think women will
Who
never
knows
understand
who
that
feels it, you
because
know.
we're not in that position.
Right.
Yeah. This is the last year I'm going to agree with Jason so much.
Prisca, I agree that men are supposed to fight and try. But what happens when there's still no justice? Correct.
The child suffers. That's what
Right.
happens. The child suffers.
Shouldn't we be looking at lobbying for fair laws for men instead of
Instead.
accepting it as the norm?
But it's going
All
to take
good
the men
points.
to lobby for that, though.
Why can't women lobby as well?
We
as women
lobby
like
with
yourself?
you. Jason, I see you out there with Freeport Power with your placards up and marching.
Oh, definitely.
So go march
I
for
always
that. That's
fight.
a
I'm
worthy
always
cause.
looking for a good
I
cause to
know.
support.
That's
So
a
that's
very
why I
good
want-
cause. You and B. Lord, y'all be in the
all us
front
can go
of
there.
the
You, Prisca,
line. I'll be
you,
right
Prisca,
there.
and
I
all
will
us
be
can
right
be
there
around.
supporting because I'm all about that. Guess what? Because I have to deal with the dysfunctional children
That's
y'all
right.
create.
That's the y'all create.
And
Wow.
procreate and maintain from the bad parenting, then they come to my space and then I have to deal with it.
And now you co-parenting.
So you,
So now
I'm
you're
telling you,
co-parent as well.
co-parenting, co-nursing, co-doctoring, co-everything. But
heavy is the
yes,
head.
it's true. It's true. So we have to do better because guess what? Our children, we say they are the future. They are our future.
We killing our future. We killing our future. Shooting ourselves in the foot. What Prisca saying?
I don't actually know of any instances where it turned out to be unfair, but I can't speak on that. I can only speak on men who make noise about the courts without even trying.
Oh, so she know there's these men making noise, but they ain't trying.
I think
But
she's
what
talking
even they
about
have
you
to
and
make-
B. Lord.
Oh, no.
Might be.
Jason
just spoke of these instances of unfairness.
Well, they answering
Okay.
each other back.
Yes.
I don't think we need to get into
I'm
business.
serious. They are our co-hosts.
Yes.
We have made them the
Yeah,
co-hosts
they
of
deal
the
with
show.
the chat. They deal with the chat side.
Yeah.
We deal with the live
Yes.
side.
Yes.
But the thing is, if a man's speaking of the unfairness of a court, that means he's feeling a certain way. Like I said, how fair is it for him having to go to court to prove that he's a father, that he wants to be the child, or because he doesn't have money? Because we know the economy system here in Grand Bahama right now. You know, it's not in a good state.
Right.
So if the guy isn't making enough money, right, or isn't he making any money at all, should he not see his child until he starts making money?
No.
What if he has a scripture to give the child? What if he has, like he won't take the child, help the child bath, or take him out to swimming, or help with the homework, tell him about God, because he has no money, he can't pour into his child's life. That's wild, Priska. That's wild. I mean, don't put that on Priska, because I don't think Priska did that. But for anybody who believes that because I don't have money, I shouldn't be afforded the right to see my child. That's crazy. Let's flip it.
Yeah.
The woman don't have the money, because y'all ain't never got no money. And the man has the child.
How are we getting this, Jason?
I say y'all. You don't have the answer. You give yourself away.
It's always the bad. Every time you say something bad, it's y'all.
Yeah, women. I just said.
I'm never included
what if women ain't? Because women. What if y'all don't have the money, right? And the guy now, the father now has the child. How do you think that? Like, oh, she have to go to court to fight for right to see her child. They'll be on picket fences. They'll have a line from here to
I'll be out there.
See that?
I don't know the woman, but I'll be out there.
See that? And that's
We
crazy.
have to know the
So
sisterhood.
this is all part of the plan of the enemy, just to diminish the role of the man and his
family,
rights, and just to dismantle
deteriorate
that.
the family, altogether, in
And-
whatever way
and-
possible.
And whoever supports that, they don't realize how they're playing into the devil's hands. Let's co-parent together. Let's do this thing right. Me and you ain't make it. Okay, let's make sure our child, when they get in a relationship, they can make it.
Yes.
So that's what should be the focus. To let's give our child all the advantages
Exactly.
that we could possibly give them, instead of fighting.
Right.
Oh, she's seeing a fellow over there, and I never like that fellow she's seeing. He around my child? Oh, no. I ain't giving her no money.
Yeah.
Or I ain't going to go to the child no more. I can't make it because whatever reason. No,
I don't want him have my daughter around that woman, or my child around that woman.
Yeah.
We do that. Can't take
Crazy.
ourselves out of the equation.
Emotions, letting our emotions run us rather than letting logic and good sense run us. But common sense ain't common nowadays. We still running around like little children, grown children. That's all we are.
Absolutely. And you said something very important. You said you didn't make it. You didn't make it, and I think, and as you said that, a picture came to mind. You may not. You remember when you used to hold hands when you were in a relationship. You used to hold hands. Now you're not holding hands anymore to be in a relationship, but you're holding hands to hold the child up.
Exactly, and put the child in the middle.
Exactly, you're holding to hold the child up. So that's important. You have to unite for the child's sake.
Yes.
And I just want to say to mothers, I think we're wrapping up now. I want to say to mothers, yes, you didn't make that child by yourself. So you deserve to have someone there. The other person should be there 100% every which way, financially, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, every which way. But if the person cannot be there in one or the other of those ways, and they are willing to be there, let them be there. Let them be there. The child is priority. As parents, if we're co-parent, take yourself out of the equation. It is not about you anymore. It's not about how you feel. It's over. The relationship is over.
Finish.
Forget it. Forget any thought of that. Take that out of your mind. And the only thing that we should have in our mind is this. The child is priority. We're going to come together and we're going to raise the best child we possibly can.
You know something? If we say we love our children, like how we say we do, then we should do all we could to make sure that that child has every advantage at their disposal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now it's time for us to grow up, put on our big girl pants, our big boy pants, and let's give these children the best advantage that we can. And Cheryl said she didn't want to go into this, right? But I just got to throw it out there. We know that the statistics are high and climbing. We don't want the statistics to continue to climb.
What statistics?
So, about single parenthood.
Okay.
So therefore,
I thought he was wrapping up.
before you lay down, picture yourself. Can you see yourself tied to this person for the next 18 years raising a child? No? Then do all you could to make sure that y'all do not have a child together. Because ain't no make no sense crying afterwards. Prevention is better than cure. So that was the cure. Now we hear, you already have your child. The child got to be priority. Mm-hmm. They say the children are the future. This is true. Mm-hmm. How does our future look? Look at the children. How are they functioning? Can they function? We have to do all we could to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes we make. Put your petty emotions aside and work together to raise the best child you could raise. Mm-hmm. You can't do it without God. You can't do it without God. This has been Let's Talk. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for joining us. I don't know, we may get us over to part 2 because this was a good topic. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. Or we'll just bring Bradley and Prisco on for next week and we'll go from there. So guys, we'll see you again next week. Yeah. Same time, same
Whatever
place.
Whatever they talk about.
Tuesday, 6.
They'll keep it fully entertained.